Welcome to the Sold Too Early Sports Card Podcast. Swiping right on success. Except for Kai. Kai lost me in fantasy football. Bitch. That's Kai. I'm better than Kai in fantasy football. And this is episode 49 of the podcast. Kai, how the hell you doing?
Doing okay.
I
Every
get
year.
upset
Oh,
because I also have the score up here. What up, bitch?
That's a tough look.
That is a tough look. I will give that to you. You unfortunately lost to the best team ever, mine, of course. Let's ignore. I'll go this way. Let's ignore the fact we're both 1-2.
You think you drop 140 and you have a pretty good chance, and then the Dolphins fucking just unload.
Yeah, I'm not going to keep this all episode, but I did just want to show that Kai, unfortunately, bad at fantasy football, better at managing cards in real life, so perfectly fine. I get it. How's everything else going with you, man? It's been an interesting week, at least here. It has not stopped raining. I'm pretty sure I need to go get a boat because I'm sure my car is gone at this point, but I'll check that later.
Yeah, it's been good. It's actually pouring here too, so busy day,
Really
busy week.
Dude, I have been in such a... Sorry, go for it.
No, you're good. Just busy, doing a lot of things.
Dude, I've been in such a weird funk card-wise because the last week I've not wanted to be productive because it literally has rained for 5 or 6 days straight here. Once again, we talked about this last week too, with no major shows going on at this point in time. I'm not really buying much right now. I'm kind of just waiting. And if you go on Instagram and you see how these quarterback prices have already started to drop, you would think the world is ending because a lot of quarterbacks continue to perform really poorly. Joe Burrow being the real... Yes, Justin Fields, Kai. I thank you for bringing that up as well.
Best time to get those.
Yeah, you're fucked. I think those have actually gone down another 5% since you showed them on camera.
Probably.
So for everyone who is listening to the podcast and not watching, Kai just flashed 4 Justin Fields cards on screen, and since I mentioned them again, they've also gone down another 5%.
They were. I think I bought them 6 or 8 months ago, and
So,
they were redemptions. So,
but they were live 6 or 8 months ago.
No, the contenders weren't. He signed a few NTs and flawless and select. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty brutal. I'm not even gonna lie to you. All right,
sold them a week ago.
Here's a good question for you, Kai. Who do you think has been the biggest disappointment card-wise in the first 3 weeks of the NFL season?
I think it's him. It's not even close.
I think Fields is definitely up there. I would put Burrow on that same pedestal range as well because Burrow had such high expectations, and he should have just sat out. If he had been injured and actually was out these first 3 weeks, it would not really affect his prices that much. By playing injured, he really not only has really hurt the Bengals season up to this point, he's also really hurting his car prices too. He's not going to be healthy, I don't think, probably until their bye week, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, the thing with him is his cards might go down, but I don't think many people are actually worried about him as a player, really.
There does hit a point, though, where you have to have some level of concern, and he has just not looked good through the first 3 weeks. And they did win yesterday. Dude, Monday Night Football was so fucking boring last night. I could not
hate
watch.
The 2 games.
Are they done doing that, or is that all season?
I hope so. It's terrible.
Yeah. So I was actually at a friend's house for the Eagles game. Eagles-Bucks game was okay.
It was okay for 2 quarters.
Yeah, it was nothing too special. And I honestly did not even watch most of the Bengals Rams game. Can you talk for a second while I cough and get water? Because I'm dying all of a sudden.
Yeah, I think another guy who you can kind of put in that tier is Trevor Lawrence. They've had a lot of drops and stuff, but him, Fields are probably the 2 biggest buys of anyone this whole cycle. And they've probably been 2 of the most disappointing guys.
Who do you think has actually exceeded expectations? I think Tua is the best answer. Love is what? Love has actually been really, really
Love and
good.
Tua, I would say.
I'm trying to think of anyone else.
Herbert's been very good. Very, very good.
But aren't the Chargers 1-2 right now, I believe?
They are, but he's been really good. I don't think he's thrown an interception.
It's really kind of... Purdy has played very well.
Purdy, yeah.
we're in a weird point of the season already where I feel like the drop off is coming for Cards regardless, because that initial hype of the season is starting to fade a little bit. You're starting to see like the contenders and pretenders a little bit. Where we go from here is interesting. I really do expect the sell off to, if not begin in general, really kind of accelerate in these next couple of weeks, especially on quarterbacks who are playing poorly or on poor performing teams. If Kirk Cousins actually had a card market and you believe in him, this would be the best time to buy. Vikings being 0-3 is really shocking, but then again, last year they were 13-4 and had a negative point differential. So like, they were kind of frauds last year anyway, too. And then they lost to the Giants. So go figure.
It's a weird time. I mean, the Cardinals beat the Cowboys. And they look competitive in every game.
I really, yeah. I mean, just NFL thoughts in general. Like, I was kind of wrong about the Cardinals. Like, they really actually have looked not great, but they've looked very capable. Who's I don't know the coach's name, but like they've really. Yeah, Gannon. They've really kind of built something impressive there. Josh Dobbs has looked very capable. The fact they traded for him 2 weeks before the season started.
You remember our bet?
Oh, did I bet the over on the Cardinals?
No, we bet that Kyler would take a snap for the Cardinals this year.
Oh, he's not going.
That bet's looking good.
He's not going to take a snap for the Cardinals.
If they're like competitive, he's going to play.
No, there's no reason to though. Like the idea is that like if they're tanking, and even if they
I don't think they are. You don't beat the Cowboys if you're tanking.
They could very easily
blow that game.
They could lose 10 games in a row, and I would not be shocked.
They could, or they could win 10 in a row.
Okay, yes, sure. And Justin Fields could become a good quarterback, Kai.
I hope so.
He's not. I if anything else, I have really truly nailed the fact that Justin Fields is just not it, and that seemed to be somewhat controversial. Like have that take because a lot of like NFL pundits and a lot of betting websites and services like kind of were really hyping up Justin Fields.
Even outside of the bets for MVP, I think.
Allegedly he did. Whether that's true or not, different conversation. But even outside of cards themselves, a lot of people were really hyping up Justin Fields, and he's crashed like the Hindenburg. Like it has just been as horrible as you could imagine, and then some. The Bears in general looked like shit. They had their defensive coordinator get fired, resign over some very questionable things. Allegedly involving something that I'm not allowed to say. I do have some borders on what I'm going to touch. Allegedly something really, really fucking bad. Might be criminal. We don't know. Nothing's really come of that. They had like lawn equipment stolen from them. They're possibly going to lose their stadium in Chicago proper. Their quarterback obviously cannot throw the ball. The Bears might be the most dysfunctional team in the entire NFL, which is mildly shocking because they were a trendy pick, but I don't even know where you go from here.
Yeah, it's tough. I saw a breakdown of Fields like 4 plays in a row where he just was terrible. He missed like 3 wide open reads or he took a sack he shouldn't. It was bad, and I don't really see it getting better. I think he got like concussed at the end of the game. DJ Moore had to take him off the field. It's bad.
So I would have bought the backup quarterback for the Bears anyway. He's actually a rookie.
Badgett, I like Badgett a lot.
Even if he's not that good, because we know how sports cards work, the backup quarterback, the second they come on the field, immediately jumps like 40%, which is ironic because I had a Gardner Minshew in TRPA. I'm actually at auction right now, ending tonight, so it won't matter by the time this episode comes out. I'll do okay on it. I
was going to say, it's crazy because like I don't think a single person would have thought that the Bears could have had the number 1 pick going into this year. And they could draft Caleb Williams and replace him.
It's not the most. First off, if they draft Caleb Williams, they are going to fucking ruin him. Like it is an issue with their team. Yeah, we have a guest who is interested in joining us, Kai. We were going to talk about fantasy football. We ended up talking about real football, how terrible. But we do have your boss, quote unquote, business partner is better of a word, Jocu, who's going to join for a little bit. He's really here to talk about one thing. And Jocu, what is that?
Yeah, I'm not his boss.
We're
partners, and
yeah,
we're sexual. Sure. We're also sexual partners, so I just want that I want that to be on the record and
On the record,
not
sexual
to be-
partner, got it.
not to be stricken from the record either. It's great to join you guys. I'm glad that you guys finally started saying whatever you want. So I figured I'd kind of hop on that. You know, take it to the next level. You know.
Great.
Oh
Yeah, it's very
no,
good
I
job.
might immediately regret this. Am I gonna just have to censor this entire episode?
No, I mean we'll keep it like it won't be like rated X or anything. They're like
NA-17.
Yeah, something like that. We'll figure it out. But what's going on, guys? I missed the beginning, but
We were talking
enjoy
about
the
how
pod.
Justin Fields is actually the Hindenburg. He's crashed so much, and a lot of bad quarterback play. I mocked Kai for losing to me in fantasy football, which, as I mentioned to you, Jocu, before, if Kai and I were like kids at like a family event, we'd be eating glue in the corner. But
Yeah.
Kai's eating the toxic glue, and mine is flavored. So we are both really special at the moment, but he is in fact more special than me.
Kai and I were talking about what would have happened if we would have held quarterbacks, and he was like, "Oh, look at what's happened to Ritter," and I was like, "I wouldn't have held Ritter," and then he's like, "Look what happened to this person, I wouldn't have held them," and then he was like, "Well, what about Fields?" I was like, "Ooh, that was one of my bad takes," but their team is so fucking terrible that it's very hard. Like just overall, I mean, he hasn't looked good, but their team is absolutely horrendous. They got worse from last year somehow. I don't know how that's possible, but they're probably the worst team in the NFL.
You're right. I mean, once again, and it's funny that you brought this up because I just talked about it 2 minutes ago. When you have your DC get fired for questionable conduct, you have a quarterback who legitimately cannot throw. Your team is getting their lawn equipment stolen. They lost like $100,000 worth of like field equipment last week. And you might lose your historic stadium in your city. It might get moved. You're really having a bad time. There is a possibility, and there's a very real possibility 3 weeks into the season. If the Bears have the number 1 pick and they draft a Caleb Williams or whoever ends up being like the top QB prospect, they might fucking ruin him too with how dysfunctional this organization seems to be. And we're not Bears fans at all. I'm a Giants fan. Kai is a Falcons fan. Joku, you're a 49ers fan. We don't give a fuck. But just seeing this team continue to have such horrible play on the field, and then especially the issues off the field, and then related to Cards as well. Like people were really hyping up a Justin Fields, and he has absolutely shit the bed.
For the record, Kai and I do care because we had redemptions that have been out for.
Oh, I flashed them on the screen already. Don't worry.
They're
happened
down
to
another
pop
20%.
right when he fucking sucks. Panini decides, oh yeah, we can afford him now or whatever because he's so terrible that he could sign these autographs. I'm sick, so sick and tired of it, dude.
Next caller.
They actually, fun fact, Justin Fields had to pay money to get those autographs signed. Like Panini would not pay him; he had to write them a check, and it was intercepted, going to the mailbox.
Good one.
Yeah.
We were also talking about Badgent.
Oh, him and O'Connell on the Raiders, I guarantee you are better than the starters right now. Jimmy G, man. Everyone thinks, like everyone's, on the Niners, he won all the. I'm a Niner fan. I went to a lot of these games and I watched him. I am not surprised at all. Jimmy G is horrendous too. He loves throwing the ball to the other team. Can't throw a spiral. He looks scared in the pocket. He looks like freaking, I don't even know, like a ghost is coming after him or something every time he's trying to throw the ball.
Shout out to Sam Darnold.
Yeah, seeing ghosts out there. And also, is the Bears defensive coordinator kind of in some sort of like Wander Franco situation right now? Like, why'd they go storm?
Allegedly,
Okay.
something involving the Wander Franco, Carmelone, all those fucking funny jokes. Ha ha ha. Don't know if it's real. No one knows if it's real. So that was the report that came out. And then some other like fake news stuff that came out too that was really funny in context, but like not relevant. Like they said the FBI raided their facility and Charles Tillman.
They said it was Charles Tillman that raided his house.
No,
yeah,
actually
he's in the FBI, huh? That'd be
yes.
so funny.
So actually, Kai, Charles Tillman, former cornerback for mostly the Bears, I believe. He might play for another team or two, doesn't matter. Actually became an FBI agent. And they started saying on like Twitter, X, who gives a fuck? Yeah, Charles Tillman was there and like he broke the news down to like the owner and the coach, and they were all like crying. Like, this is fucking hilarious because it's absurd and there's no way it's true. There might be elements of the story that are true. We don't know yet as of September 26th. It's very possible something has happened.
I'm not trying to start a rumor, but I have a source that told me that Peanut Tillman came in and went and arrested the defensive coordinator because he was so fed up with how bad the Bears are that he's like, this is fucking criminal. I'm putting this guy in prison because they are so terrible and I won't have it. And he was fed up, and that's what the rate. So he started gambling on the guy's phone or something on the team. He did something.
that'll really get you kicked out of the league.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what happened per my source.
Yeah, listen, I can believe it. I mean, did they also arrest Justin Fields for being a fraud?
They should.
They should. We should sue him.
We should.
I don't hate Justin Fields. I want to make this clear, but it's really one of those things where it's like
I do.
Fair. All right, fair enough. It's one of those things where it's like, and I don't know. I use Zion a lot for this in basketball too, but there are like certain players who just really, for whatever reason, get a lot of not hobby love, but a lot of expectations placed on them financially by card collectors, and it's very clear to me. I'm not sure about you two. But, like, I love sports first and then sports cards second. And I really, really try to have, like, intelligent conversations and keep things, like, pretty, like, neutral when I talk sports. But you can just tell with certain players that they are not it, and they've not proven to be it. And they could change, possibly. They're still pretty young. But when you see the prices people pay versus what is showing with your eyes, it doesn't make fucking sense. And, unfortunately, Justin Fields is really one of those guys because I legitimately don't think he can play quarterback at a high level.
Yeah, he might want to get into like a position move, maybe put him at corner, maybe running back, something like that,
Really trigger some people, receiver, running back, yeah.
It won't happen, but it would be interesting. He is an incredible athlete. He might be...
Ooh, kicker. Well...
it won't happen.
I was trying not to trigger people, sorry.
Well, you want to know something crazy? I just think about this. So Calvin Ridley got suspended for a season for gambling, right? And then we got Kamara and Tyreek Hill are just beating people and like barely getting suspended.
Well, the Ray Rice thing, because did we talk about it here? How did this come up in conversation twice? Have we talked about Ray Rice on this podcast before?
Sure. Well, you probably bought a jersey of him and framed it.
Shut up. I have a Ray Rice jersey here. Fuck you.
Dave only buys domestic abuser game
for the good PC to
have. God damn it. No. Leave me alone. Robert Woods has done nothing
At least
wrong.
One felony.
No, Robert Woods is a hero to everyone, and I will not take slander from anyone else. Ray Rice, go ahead, because he had video on it. The point is, and I wanted to fucking dig myself out of this one. This is really bad.
Put away the Aaron Hernandez jersey.
Oh, God.
Okay. Game used blood.
Player worn blood.
You have the steering wheel from his car.
God.
This
episode is not going to air well. Oh, God. Or it's going to be amazing. So
he's got the woman.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Too far,
Kai.
I won't stand for it.
No, you're sitting right now driving.
What was your point, Dave?
I don't know.
What'd you have, Dave?
Okay, now I remember my point. Thank you, fuckers. The league is so interesting about their image. When anything's on video, you really get the book thrown at you. Kareem Hunt got suspended like 6 games for kicking a woman a couple of years ago. But Deshaun Watson, Bill Cosby got 10 after 25 sexual assaults, which probably were mostly true. Let's be real. If you're Alvin Kamara and you assault a man, you got 3 games a year later after you probably should have been suspended much longer. And thanks to a good lawyer, avoided actual jail time. The NFL's always had like a weird policy regarding abuse, drugs forever. Dude, Josh Gordon lost basically an incredible career because he couldn't stop smoking weed. He kept on getting suspended multiple times.
Isn't that legal now too in the NFL?
Which that?
They don't test for it as much, or they like announce it.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
But,
he would be like an all-pro, no issues, right? If he played right now.
He was so good. And Dave, to your point, I have an even crazier one. So like back when I used to like listen to every Niners podcast and do everything, apparently Reuben Foster had like this girlfriend, and he like grabbed her by her hair and threw her out of the house onto the concrete, and it wasn't on camera, so he never like got even. He might have like gotten in trouble or slapped on the wrist for it, but like literally nothing happened. And then like a couple weeks later, he had like a guns charge where he had like 20 unlicensed guns, and like that's what got him in trouble because there was like a police report. But the neighbors were saying like, yeah, like we saw him like pick her up by her hair and like throw her out of the house. Like pretty crazy.
Once again, no one is obviously condoning this behavior. It's all really fucking bad, and if you're guilty, you deserve to go to jail or face, subsequent fines, punishment, whatever else. I think we can hopefully establish that. Please don't say anything else, Kai or Joku. The internet was.
You're killing me here. I had a great one lined up.
No. You never got heard from again. The point is,
what do you got, Kai? Say it.
You cannot gamble on games if you're in the NFL, because that's what will really fucking get you. Because how dare you question the integrity of the shield, which is basically all the NFL actually cares about at the end of the day, is that image of like, we are flawless, we are perfect. And other than leaning into it from a marketing perspective this year on like the NFL script, they actually really do take that shit seriously.
Isn't that crazy though? Because like they have like in their own stadiums, they have like gambling lounges. They advertise like MGM on all their commercials. It's like the same thing with like beer in like the 80s and 90s. Like they would like, if any player like advertised with beer, they'd get suspended or whatever. And like now it's like all over the place. But with gambling, like they could make as much money as they possibly want on the gambling. But if a player does like anything, even if it's like not related to the sport, they get like kicked out of the league basically, or out for a year. Like a lot of the players that aren't Calvin Ridley will never play again.
Jameson Williams is suspended 4 games. He's a Lions wide receiver. A couple Colts got suspended. I think another player.
Like half the fucking Colts defense got like a 3-game suspension.
But like, yeah, and Joku, you're right. It is really hypocritical. But guess what? The NFL doesn't give a fuck because they just don't care. It is interesting though. I mean, obviously, I imagine that they have seminars and actual conversations. Obviously, it's not really working because you're giving kids who most likely grew up with like nowhere near the millions of dollars they're going to get at 21, 22, 23 years old. And yeah, they're going to be financially irresponsible. And I don't know how you really fix that other than a veteran player presence like, yo, don't fucking do that. Learn from X, Y, and Z or my past mistakes.
Learn from Tyreek Hill, Ray Rice, and
heroes of the game, of course. Ray Lewis,
is a great name.
Marvin Harrison. The heroes of the game, pillars of their community.
Michael Vick.
Michael Vick, true hero of the game.
You know what's crazy with Deshaun Watson?
Wait, did Rodney Harrison? Did you say Rodney Harrison?
Marvin Harrison.
Marvin.
Did he kill someone?
He probably killed a guy.
I think he did something.
Yeah, where's the gun? And also Ray Rice. Well, Ray Lewis, where's the white suit?
Well, anyways, I was saying as a Falcon.
Anyway, go ahead, Kyle.
You're killing me here. The Falcons.
All right, calm down there, Ray.
Whatever. Me.
Aaron Hernandez.
We could have traded like 3 first-round picks and paid Watson like $300 million, but we didn't. And Ritter's bad, but I'm very happy we didn't do that.
Oh, this is bad. The story about Marvin Harrison is bad. Ooh, it's a bad story. I'm not going to go into this.
Today, but yeah, Kai and I were talking about like how the I almost said Redskins. Sorry. What are they called?
I think that's the least we have to worry about right now.
Whatchamacallit? We were talking about how Howell obviously had a bad game, so can't bury him yet. Ritter's made some really questionable throws, decisions, thrown the ball to the other team quite a bit. We were talking about how like they literally have no allegiance to them because they were such late draft picks. So like if they continue to struggle, nothing will keep them. Like the GM and coaches will have no allegiance to them whatsoever. Versus Pickett, I mean, he had a good game against the Raiders, but like struggled elsewhere. Like they had more allegiance because they picked him in the first round. Yeah.
But here's the thing too, and from a card point perspective, did anyone actually really fucking buy Pickett that much? I really think he went under the radar this entire like hype cycle. I mean, maybe it was because like NTs weren't out until week 1 or right during the preseason. I don't know when.
A little bit like week or 2 before the preseason, I think.
Yeah, so like maybe there wasn't enough time for that, but like
he definitely sold. I mean, his gold prisms were 9s are going for like 6,500, 7,000.
But in the scale of QB world, and like the scale of like their good cards, that doesn't sound like that much. Obviously, it's an absurd amount of money, but like compared to another middling quarterback or someone who had potential, that doesn't sound like that much money compared to like what it could be if he was so fucking good, which he obviously has not been. But it almost feels like he was a value play that just like never got talked about, and now obviously he's playing like poorly.
Yeah, Purdy was a little bit more than him. He definitely had hype, but like Howell, Ritter, and Pickett never got to like Trevor Lawrence hype like levels of not even just this year, but like say last year. Last year was just different too. The market was just way higher for QBs. Like Josh Allen, like NTs were going for $90,000, as 9s.
Mac
nice
Jones,
patches.
what,
So,
like 20, 30?
Just a different market, but yeah, they definitely. I don't think anyone like. Yeah, like all the young guys like were over. Like I think Lamar was 10K, and like I was buying him, and I was like, oh, this is so cheap. And come to realize like people only want like the young next, new toy, new guys. So. But every one of the young quarterbacks, like Mac Jones, Tua, all of them were higher than Lamar at the time.
I think part of that really comes down.
Is relatively cheap. I think his market kind of helped him in the year.
I really think it comes down to this: like these super athletic quarterbacks who like run first, pass second, who generally do not have the best of careers because they just, the second they lose their legs, the second they lose that like explosive playmaking that they create, they kind of fade off. Like they will hit their peak at like 25, 26, 27, 28. If they get like to 32 and they're healthy and they all of a sudden get hurt, it's over. you see this steep drop off generally with these uber athletic players who just cannot keep up because, hey, quarterback's really difficult. And once you take away their best skill, then they're, kind of what they are.
I mean, are any running backs like really make it to even 32 or not running back? Running quarterbacks.
Adrian Peterson made it to 35.
I meant running quarterbacks. Sorry.
Vic got pretty far. I mean, Vic obviously was out for a couple of years.
Russell Wilson-ish.
Russell Wilson he might be cooked, ironically.
No, I'm saying, but he's probably like one of the longest lasting quarterbacks that kind of ran a little bit.
I mean,
Vic had a couple years off, but Vic took a couple years off, but he was good.
Steve
I think he
Young,
was 30 when he was on the Eagles.
I want to see McNabb because McNabb is what I was actually thinking of in the back of my mind. When did McNabb actually fall off? He wasn't
really like he was like he was a throw first quarterback that could run though. I thought.
I understand that, and that's fine. So McNabb, for reference, his last Pro Bowl year was 2009.
I think
but
Cam
for
Newton
reference, also there was
a
6-year period where he was not a Pro Bowler. So
Cam Newton, like 30, right?
I'll tell you right now,
29, 30.
Since he played his last good football, probably.
So Cam Newton, for reference, is 34.
He honestly wasn't terrible on the Patriots.
He was, he threw 8 touchdowns. Cam Newton's last really good season is arguably 2018 at 29 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was pretty good on the Patriots at throwing the ball on the ground.
Like these super athletic players, just like their peak is 5, 6, 7 years. And Cam had a great peak. Cam won MVP. Cam went 15-1. That is what you really hope these players can be. Now, it's sustained success, obviously, is a different conversation. But like when you are a Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, if Justin Fields was good, another example, and you have like a very finite window where I can't imagine Lamar Jackson playing until 35, 36, 37, 40, like some of his peers could. It's really kind of like, you might have 7 to 10 years, if you're lucky, of high-level play with this person before they're...
Would you rather have prime Cam Newton or prime Drew Brees?
Prime Cam Newton. Like he's just different than every other player on that field. He's the most athletic player on that field, and he could also get you to, he could throw the ball and pass for 400 yards, and run for 100 in the same game. Cam Newton at his peak, easily over Drew Brees.
Jocu.
Over you, Joku,
Wow.
Kai.
What?
Kai, go for it.
Well, I think it's Cam Newton too, but my follow-up question was going to kind of be like, if it's so obvious that Cam's prime was better, and he had a good career, and it's so obvious that Drew Brees is a lock for the Hall of Fame, is Cam Newton a Hall of Famer?
Maybe.
10 years, MVP, pretty good stats, probably best rushing quarterback
Is it
ever.
basketball or
What you're asking, Joku?
is it basketball or football? Where was it basketball or I think it's basketball where only one like everyone that's ever won an MVP has made the Hall of Fame.
That's basketball.
Other than they're talking about Rose. I'm sure there's been a lot of football players that won't make the Hall of Fame.
Honestly, not really.
Injuries and whatnot.
MVPs that won't make it in football?
There's some, Kyle, from the earlier days, because
That
football
won't
is.
make it into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Matt Ryan's a lock.
Like Matt Ryan.
No, he's not.
He's not going to make it.
No, he's a lock.
Matt Ryan is not a lock for the Hall
He's
of
a
Fame.
lock.
No, he is. He's Philip Rivers with an MVP. That's it.
A Super Bowl appearance, way better playoff record, better stats.
But I don't think Philip Rivers is a Hall of Famer. So once again, and this is a good
Is
conversation.
Trent Dilfer a Hall of Famer, Kai?
He was dog shit. What are you talking about?
He won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, he was dog shit though.
I will say this:
Is Joe
Cam Newton,
Flacco?
I think, will make the Hall of Fame eventually. He's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. He might even not make the finale.
Who are we
Because
talking
they
about?
go in stages.
Matt
of,
Ryan?
What's that?
Are you talking about Matt Ryan?
I'm talking about Cam Newton.
Oh.
But it goes to the same vein. The quarterback play in the last 25 years of the NFL has really kind of exceeded, obviously the past 75 years up to that point, 80 years, whatever. And as these stats get more gaudy and more obscene, obviously it matters much, much less. You compare Troy Aikman's numbers to a middling quarterback today, and it's wow, what the fuck are they doing? Obviously, numbers and stats of context, but people seem to miss
I'm pretty sure Troy Aikman was terrible. And
He
just
actually
won a
had
lot.
more interceptions and touchdowns,
Yeah.
I think, or that might have been.
He just won
Joe
Super
Montana,
Bowls.
or not Joe Namath. That's what I was thinking of. Doesn't matter. The point is, with Cam Newton, he was a very capable passer for a while, and probably the most gifted runner of the ball who was a quarterback for a sustained amount of time. So, I think he gets in eventually. He didn't have the longest career by any stretch because, once again, we just talked about athletic quarterbacks who might not last forever. I think Cam has a chance. I think he has a very capable. If he wins the Super Bowl, I think he gets in. Maybe not first ballot, but within a couple years. I think he ends up waiting longer than most people would think to get into the Hall of Fame.
I kind of weirdly think he might get a lot of votes because of the whole new wave of Josh Allen. So people kind of respected how he played more.
It's weird. It's hard to say.
Joku gives us a controversial take.
If Josh Allen couldn't run as much, I still think he could actually have probably a longer career than a Cam Newton.
Yeah.
Cam was so dependent on his legs. Josh Allen can and does run, but not nearly to the same degree. Where I can see a Josh Allen even at an advanced age being a top 10 to 15 quarterback.
You see Anthony Richardson playing good, and then he gets concussed in his second game.
That's exactly the issue. That is the issue.
What do you do?
He'll have cards actually because he actually signed with me.
Yep.
That's actually interesting. He probably will have obscenely high prices because he'll be the only quarterback you can really go after. But it's not going to make sense. We're going to have this conversation.
There will be base, prisms and stuff of the other guys. There just won't be autos.
I'll talk about NT for instance. Or
yeah, crack bases and stuff.
We'll be having this conversation kind of a year. We'll fast forward. NT will just come out and he'll be the chase, obviously, and he'll be wow, his NTRPs are $10,000. This is fucking absurd. I can go buy T-Law for that. I can go buy Dak. I can go buy 2 Jalen Hurtses. This doesn't make any sense.
Do you remember in the early 2010s when they had the contenders with the no autograph text on it?
I actually do. That was like the lockout or something.
Well, they just had some players who like never signed. I think it was like 2011, 2012. Some of those years they have like people never signed their cards. It was a lot of the weirder players. And do you think they do that with like Stroud and them and just make cracked ices with no autos?
Probably.
Have you seen those, Joku?
Ew. Wait, that stuff's not gonna
They
be licensed.
can no,
though,
they
right?
can like print like base cards of them. I'm pretty
trying to
sure they just
remember.
can't sign anything. Because Stroud and all of them are in Mosaic.
Well, from what I understand, yeah, because from what I understand, they're allowed to make football products that were already in production, but after that, they're not allowed to use the license.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know
understand.
when the production line's up to, but I know Mosaic just came out like yesterday, and Stroud's in full uniform. They just don't have autos.
It'll be interesting to see what happens, and that does lead into a couple questions that we got related to sports cards. I know how horrible.
This sucks.
I know this definitely does suck. It's horrible. We got questions about like
Joku's gone.
he was like, "Oh fuck, sports cards."
Oh, he's back.
All right, bye. We got questions about like with UFC leaving PvP, like what's going to happen, and is MMA like next to fall? All these like questions about the future of. You know, I'm not the biggest MMA or WWE fan at all by any stretch. I have a couple cards of them, but like, it is kind of a weird precursor to I think what's going to happen next. Football is starting to go that way as well. We're starting to see like a weird legal process. I think Panini's going to really fight for that license and kind of give up whatever they have to, because the second they lose football, it really is the domino that like they lose the basketball license, they're going to lose all these other exclusives they have, and they're going to be fucked.
I'm trying to figure out why Panini's like not attempting to sell to Fanatics or something. Like, there's got to be like
maybe Fanatics is honestly trying to strangle them, and Fanatics is not the one who wants to negotiate.
Yeah.
Fanatics doesn't want to. Like, I think that's entirely possible.
It is. I mean, yeah. I don't know. It's a weird one.
I also really don't think. Listen, Fanatics is not a good company. Once again, I've said this a few times. But Panini has been so fucking dog shit over the last couple of years. I am willing to give Fanatics a fair shot. I understand, oh, they make crappy jerseys. Oh, they fucking misprinted this player. Oh, the Jalen Hurts thing is slit. Ha, ha, ha. Or they fucking printed a bunch of Superfractors and Bowman Chrome, and they fucked up. And that's pretty bad, honestly. But, like, I'm really willing to give Fanatics a chance here because, once again, Panini has been so dog shit over the last couple of years. I don't fucking care. I just want to try something new because it could maybe be better. It's probably going to be shit, but it might be better.
I'm not really like, I don't have high expectations. I do think there's going to be some shady stuff going on with Fanatics. They're trying to get people's attentions and make people like them. I mean, you see rumors all the time. I saw stuff yesterday on Twitter about them loading boxes for breakers from an employee at Fanatics, and that you're not going to get anything if you don't join breaks. I mean, I think there's going to be stuff like that they do with influencers and ads and stuff.
Are you really surprised by that?
I'm not saying it, I would do the same thing.
I truly believe there is actual like conspiracy theories about loaded boxes going to breakers, influencers, or a mix. I really think it's true.
What?
Are you saying, Joku?
I called Kai a scumbag because he said I would do the same thing.
I mean, it's a good strategy. I'm not gonna argue with that. I mean,
listen, whether you admit it or not, like I really think there is something to that, and I really have tried to stay out of sports card drama over the last couple of weeks, and honestly, I've been very happy. My mental health regarding sports cards is never better because I don't give a fuck anymore. I don't care.
Isn't it way better? Yeah.
It's really sad. Like, I really wish I could be like, oh, the pillar of the sports car community, the hobby watchdog, these amazing things. I could really like give a fuck about this community, but it just unfortunately it's a sinking ship, and there's always more bullshit going on, and you unfortunately just keep losing ground.
Yeah, I mean, well, you look at it like if they're loading these cases of breakers, you get the dumbasses at backyard breaks yelling stupid shit, going viral on TikTok, and little kids see it. They get their parents to buy into breaks, spend $500. They get people into card. I mean, it's obvious what they're doing. I mean,
So you either like
Yeah.
fight it's like a fucking tsunami coming at you. You either fight the waves or you let it embrace you. And at this point now, dude, I really have accepted the reality of the situation. And I don't feel good about it, but you're losing the battle anyway, and there's no realistic or actual chance to fight it. And
Yeah.
I love Jack. I love Sons Fanny, like Nady, DRC Collector, like call out bullshit. And I used to really be part of that crew and like that thing. But unfortunately, I've just accepted the reality. It's like I love when Tyler TY what the fucking Tyler Sports Cards post stuff and, like mocks people, but it's futile and it makes me sad.
It's kind of like politics, like you can care all you want, but
He's dying. He's a robot. All right, we're gonna mute the robot. He's unfortunately dying right here. So Joku, I kicked you out. I'm sorry. I'm not doing that on purpose, but you were a robot. It's really sad. I don't know how else to say it. Hopefully Joku is able to come back in and talk and get to his point. Let's
thanks,
see.
Obama, but you just have to do it anyway. And on
Joku, we had you back in. You all right? You back from being a robot?
Yeah,
Nope,
I think the
not
government
still
was clear
kicked
for-
me out because I said some stuff. But I was just saying, like,
Oh my god, he's doing it again. All right, Joku has
Can
mysteriously.
you hear me?
Yes.
Joku, you're about two messages
no.
away from 2 bullets to the back of the head ruled as a suicide. So make it careful.
Love you guys. Love you guys.
And he's gone.
All right, love you guys.
All right,
Can you
go
hear
do whatever you gotta do, Joku. Make sure you like I said, 2 bullets to the back of the head, ruled a suicide, no big deal. You'll be okay. Bye. And gone. That's one problem out of the way. All right, let's get through some other questions because these came up and these were relevant. Also, Joku, I never know where things are gonna go with him. We have a project in the works involving him, and I'm terrified. I'm terrified. It might be 2 hours of just sensors, just bleeps everywhere.
Yeah, it's very possible.
I can only hope it's gonna be good, because otherwise it's gonna be a lot of editing or mysteriously vanishing. Here's a couple other questions that came up. A lot of these came from Jay Mojo Sports, and this is a happier tune to what we were talking about. He's asking us, like, what's our favorite part of the card show environment and everything that we do there outside of deals? And I can speak for myself only. Like, I do like the camaraderie of it when it's not so salesy. There are people I know, there are a lot of individuals who really try to, like, be a businessman, try to, like, upsell you on bullshit, or, like, really try to, like, get you while you're not paying attention, like, try to make a deal where they obviously went over you. And you can tell those individuals, and you can know when that bullshit's coming. But it's really more fun, honestly, when you're with like 3 or 4 friends, you're having a drink, like Kai, like what we did in Dallas, where we're just bullshitting, no one's trying to fucking sell you on anything, and like it's just like fun. There's no ulterior motive. We're all just hanging out, and it's a good environment to be in. You can let your guard down because you really have to have your guard up 24/7 at a card show. Either stealing your cards, stealing your cash, or getting your ass kicked on a deal. Like actually letting your guard down, like being able to be yourself, to me is my favorite part of the show.
Yeah, I would agree, especially if you're like set up and you have to be there from whatever 8 in the morning till 6. I mean, that's what 10 hours straight. I mean, you kind of need that, or else I feel like you'll go crazy on a 3 or 4 day show.
You're right. And also, I have breaking news here into the Soul Too Early Sports Card Network. Jocu Sports Cards, or whatever. Fucking, what's Jocu's sports card name? It doesn't matter.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Oh, good enough for me. We are proud to announce that we are going to be creating a second podcast, most likely a monthly one. We'll figure out schedules. The Soul Too Early Sports Card Podcast will continue, and it will be a weekly thing every Wednesday. But we are going to create a offshoot, a sister project, a much more inappropriate, bullshitty, conspiracy-filled one called Sold Too Late Sports Card Podcast involving Jocu Sports Cards, Kai, and myself, which will be heavily intoxicated, bullshitting, probably going to require a sober David to edit it because it's going to be a madhouse of about an hour or 2 hours every month, give or take.
Give or take, yeah.
Yeah, we'll figure that out. But I've been hinting at it for a while. Kai, Jocu, and I have been talking about this for a while. I mean, it was part of the reason why he was going to come on today, and then he became a robot and seriously vanished. So terrible. But Jocu is one of the funniest people I know. Jocu has no filter, and I need to somehow be the voice of reason for him because it's going to be on a recorded podcast. Otherwise, we really will get in trouble.
That's not possible.
Oh, dude, yeah, no one fucking listens to this podcast. No one's going to care. What? You said that?
It should be fun, though. We'll
have a
good time. I'm sure we'll bring some of our friends on at some points randomly.
We do have friends who have agreed to come on the podcast, either sold too early or sold too late, but it doesn't matter. It's all the same fucking thing. It kind of interrupted the conversation about like favorite parts about the show, but honestly, yeah, we were talking about how we like the camaraderie, and that's what this is. And if this is a podcast you listen to while you're having a drink or bullshitting with your friends, I don't like graphs. I'm fucking terrible in school, and I always will be, and probably forever. I like just funny things to say and poking out.
I think if you like the blunt versions of us when we're on these podcasts, you're gonna like that one.
Yeah, and also we'll be drinking and we'll say stupid shit. So, oops. Yeah. Or if you're under the age of 21, we're drinking soda and nothing else. Just soda. The fizzy lifting juice because I'm wearing Harry Potter today. That's the main thing I wanted to get to. I kind of answer all the questions too. Anything kind of Kai that you're in your mind you want to get through and talk about, or can we wrap it up there?
I'm pretty good. I mean, we got football starting, baseball's playoffs, and then basketball starts in a couple weeks, I think.
Yeah, dude. I mean, honestly, the funny thing is that like we can get to like basketball hot takes and like get that ready.
That's the first thing we started with.
I know. This has been going on for now a year. This is basically year. I know it's episode 50. It's not, or 49. It doesn't fucking matter. It's 49. Shit. Yeah, we're right there at the precipice of the next era of Sold Too Early. Another season of basketball that we're going to hopefully get completely right. And I'm not going to predict Kyrie Irving to retire, Ben Simmons to be good.
You could actually do that again, and it might be right.
Kyrie could absolutely retire, and it wouldn't shock me. But once again, he got paid basically a 3-year max. He's probably going to stick around. He's the dumbest motherfucker alive, but I don't think he's that dumb to turn down that kind of money. But we do have basketball coming. That is, in my opinion, the best time of the year. Playoff baseball will eventually happen, but it won't involve the two teams that I thought would be good in the Padres and Yankees, which is pure agony. Kai, you are probably having the best time. I've avoided talking about baseball for a couple months, but also most people stopped watching it.
Did you see the new award they made? The Team Silver Slugger?
What?
It's the first year there's a team-wide award for the Silver Slugger now, and the Braves are like guaranteed to win. Basically.
Is that just called the best offensive team in the league? Because
that's basically, I mean, I think that's pretty stupid, honestly. But I think the whole point is to have like individual positions. But I don't know. It's the first year they're doing it.
Okay, well, I guess everyone gets a participation trophy. Everyone gets a participation trophy now. I fucked it up twice. I'm done. I blame Jocu. It's his fault.
I agree.
For everything. All right, that's all I got to say. This will be uploaded tomorrow, or I guess today when you're listening to it. It doesn't fucking matter. I'm tired. I be kind of fantasy. That's all I care about. So, peace.
See you guys.